What's the Not Your Finest Hour podcast? What is that all? I mean, I've heard stories.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast. One I'll have to check out one of these days when I get a minute to listen to it. I've been told it's not for everyone. I don't know. It's just the general reviews I hear on it, but it has been getting really good reviews.
And I've never personally listened to it, but I have heard it's not for everyone.
I listened to the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Just great podcast. I've really enjoyed that.
I'm not endorsing anything. From what I said, from what Caleb told me, he said don't endorse anything unless you listen to it first.
I do once in a while listen in, and it's a lot of fun. But I do got to be careful. It is not for everyone.
Caleb Allman is always dropping notes that it's one of the most value-added shows out there.
Of course, through all the Not Our Finest Hour, you guys poking fun at so much different stuff is absolutely killer.
I don't feel any oppression tonight. In fact, I feel very free. The Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to a fucked up episode. My fucked up microphone. On a fucked up day. And it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow, like 50 mil.
The hurricane's coming.
It's not even a fucking hurricane. It's just a lot of rain.
Yeah, but it's the remnants of a hurricane, is it not?
Is that what it is? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was the remnants of a hurricane.
Yeah, we're
From Florida?
Yeah, that's where they all come from, isn't it?
I guess so.
Never heard of a storm coming from
Last one came from Texas, I think.
Texas?
Yeah, I think so.
This not being able to use the microphone and using this fucking now it fucked up my whole plan of things I had going on. Gotta find it on Google. Fucking fucked up.
You should get the same microphone that Chad has. He's sounding
I'm
really
going to.
nice.
The blue ball.
One looks way cooler than Chad's, but it fucking works like a bag of ass. Did you keep the long box truck, Chad?
No, they called me today. I asked for a couple days. Well, they said, "Do you want a couple days to think about it?" I said, "Yeah." Then I thought about it, and they called me today, and I said, "Yeah, I don't want that truck." I said, "Are you sure you don't want to drive it around the city some more, just to see if you can get used to it?" He said, "I drive big trucks all the time. I'm not getting used to that thing. I can't take it through the drive-through. Like, no, thank you." And then everybody was like, "Keep it. You can put a whole pallet of brick plus your toolbox in there." I said, "The whole point is that I don't want to do that anymore. I don't need to. At this point in my career, I don't have to put a pallet in my truck and ferry it around town. We have many other vehicles and trailers that can do that." So anyway, we're gonna. I don't know what they're doing with the truck. I'm trying to find a different one. They have like the two-tone King Ranch around, but it doesn't have the vinyl floors that I want, and so I either wait another 3 or 4 months or I pick something up.
Well, it's not going to be ready for H&A.
Unless, well, if I get, there's a couple around town, around Ford in Cornwall, so that within 2 hours or whatever they could swap with. So we'll see. But I did try out the massaging seats in that truck. There's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get
Look forward to that drive to H&A. First of all, I'm looking forward because I don't have to fucking drive. And generally in my life, I drive everywhere I go. And I want the massaging seats.
Yeah, it's weird because like it'll massage one ass cheek, but that leg is also controlling the gas.
Yeah.
Like, this is weird. I don't know if I should be getting a massage in my ass while I'm controlling truck. Like, we're going 100 kilometers an hour here, and I'm getting an ass massage. I don't know.
Can you select what part of it massages?
Yeah, you can do. Yeah, there's like, it won't tell you like, okay, do the ass or do the back. It's like Comfort Plus or something like that, and then or like vibration. I don't know. I was busy driving. I wasn't looking at all the settings, but it doesn't break it down by body part for you.
So you think our extra 2 feet is a deal breaker?
It's a deal breaker for sure. For sure.
If it was a dually, it wouldn't be a deal breaker.
If it was a dually, I would have bought it.
You would have kept it.
But I would have went into it knowing that I can't go through a drive-through anymore, or I have to park at the back of Walmart. You know, like you go in knowing that. but expecting to show up at the dealer and pick up 6.5 foot box truck exactly like you wanted it, and then being shown this long box monstrosity. I'm like, no,
I'm
no,
gonna be honest, it was ugly as fuck.
it wasn't me.
It looks ugly. It just looks ugly. It looks fucking ugly.
So they delivered the trucks like to Ford, and the truck beside it was a beautiful King Ranch. It was a Tremor, so it's probably like $140,000. And like whenever I didn't like the long box one, I'm like, is that one sold? You're like, oh, I think that one's sold already. Okay, I would have taken that one. Just blown the
What
bank.
color was it?
It was black.
Huh?
Yeah. Big tires and all that stuff. Or a real like bro truck. Would have been cool. But
Don't the Tremors have like a lift kit on them or something like that?
yeah, well, their suspension different and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think it's a gimmick to get an extra $20,000 worth of your money, but
Oh, probably.
yeah,
But they do sit like the F-150 Tremors sit higher.
yeah, same sort of deal. Yeah, I think so.
So did they try to pass it off like that was a truck you ordered, or did they tell you in advance before you came to the dealership, hey, this truck is
No,
fucked up?
they're like, oh, your truck is in, and I get there. The first thing I said is, "That's a long box. That's not my truck." It's like, what? Ugh. You can see the guy's stomach just sink
Oh,
buying this truck. So
He knew.
figure it out.
He
Maybe they were
fucking knew.
notice. I don't know.
Do you think you would have been more likely to take the truck if the guy had called you and said, hey, this truck is fucked up. It's a long box, but I still want you to come look at it, instead of pretending like it was the truck you ordered? Because that immediately would irritate me.
If he would have told me it was a long box, I probably wouldn't have even went in to look at it. I would have said, "Great, call me when my truck comes in." Like,
So who fucked up, Ford, or did they order the truck wrong?
so they ordered the truck, but they don't say 6.5 foot box or long box or short box. They say 160 wheelbase, which means fuck all to me. I don't know what the wheelbase is, right? Because you have to base the wheelbase based on the cab size and the box size.
Yeah.
So like that means nothing to me. Just tell me, is it a short box truck or is it a long box truck? Is it a single rear axle or a dual? Like, make it fucking simple. And so whose fault is it? Probably not mine, but either way.
So did they ask you what wheelbase you wanted and you picked 160?
No, I said I want a short box truck.
And then maybe the guy who ordered the truck didn't know the difference.
So it was the guy who was building the truck while I was sitting in front of the computer there, selecting the options that you want. So it was his first time ever building a truck. He used to be the parts guy or whatever, and he's now a sales guy. But he was with like a veteran sales guy, and they were doing it together. So both of them fucked up.
And now they're jammed with a long box King Ranch that no one fucking wants.
No, but who wants a long box King Ranch? Who wants a long box truck to begin with? Oh,
When I buy my next truck, I'm buying a dually long box.
but it's a dually. You expect not to be able to go everywhere with it.
I just always wanted one, and I'm like, I'm gonna fulfill my life's goal.
One day I want a dually flat deck, a big aluminum flat deck on a dually.
Nice.
And just to have that, and a big transfer tank in the back. But apparently whenever you have a flat deck, you have to fill out your trip inspection every morning. So
But not if it's registered to you as a person.
no, but then I don't get the tax breaks of having a truck. So
I'm just saying, if you registered it to you as a person, because then it's a private vehicle.
and it's a private vehicle, and then they're already all over my case about how many trucks I have and what they're used for. I'm not going to go down that hole with them. Oh, it's a personal truck, but I rent it to my work so that I can work with it, and that's a whole other bag.
Another bag of shit that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
So did you call off the day? Like, how did you deal with this hurricane coming in? Did you just say to everyone, don't come to the fucking yard, or I'm going to call you in the morning, or what did you do?
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
I told everybody that we're not working, so work as late as you want tonight. And they worked till 6 or 7 or whatever it was, and got some things done, but it said 40 mils overnight, and I'm just like, hey, this is enough. We're not even going to try.
That's what I called it, all except for we had to move some armor stone to a sandblaster for some reason for one of our clients. And I'm calling the guy that scheduled that, and I'm like, bro, it says it's going to be raining like 30 mil when we're supposed to be loading up this armor stone. That doesn't seem like a good idea. And then, so after some like poking and prodding, he did message me and be like, all right, let's move it to Monday. So I'm like, I don't have anything scheduled for Monday. Like, I can come do this Monday. Like, what is going to happen at the Armor Stone Sandblaster between 1:30 in the afternoon on Friday and the absolute pouring fucking rain and Monday morning at 8:30? Like, what is going to happen during that weekend? Nothing. Like, no one's sandblasting Armor Stone on Sunday afternoon going, oh, fuck it, it's the best thing ever, motherfucker. Like, I'm like, can we just not do this in the pouring rain? Because in the pouring, I'm not worried about our because all the trucks are shut down too. I'm not worried about our drivers in like 30 mil of rain in the morning. I'm worried about idiots sliding into them or hitting them or pulling out in front of them, and it's like such a huge risk to put all the trucks on the road during that kind of storm. I'm like, fuck this. So I shut everyone down. Plus we had to do this and it was going to be late. And I didn't really want to fucking wake up in the morning, and I was like, fuck it. Seems reasonable. Shut it down.
Take a rain day.
What are you doing, Mike? What did you
I'm
tell
going to be
everyone?
doing consults.
In person, like, do you take an umbrella and you go out there and
Yeah, well, I'll see how it goes. I saw we're just getting like a bunch of thunderstorms, so I didn't see a whole lot of rain on the forecast.
Oh, it was like 50 mil. 25, 30 mil overnight, 15 mil overnight, 30 mil in the morning in Whitby.
yeah?
Yeah, I see in the morning we're getting like less than a mil.
Where, in Toronto?
Yeah, Toronto to Kitchener. Checking Kitchener right now.
How much is it raining overnight?
I didn't check overnight.
Would you call off tomorrow based on tonight's rain? Like, say tomorrow was supposed to be okay. Would you?
Yeah, because one of our one project is a backyard that we've just finished completely excavating.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
this fucking moron backfilled a pool, and the backyard wasn't draining for the last 12 months. So he got rid of all the slop and mud and shit and got it down to like hard clay. And there's places for the water to go, and the downspouts are, anyways, like it'll be okay by Monday if it's warm over the weekend. But I would shut it if it was going to rain 20 mil tonight. We can't work there. And then the dump trucks can't get into any of the dumps in after 20 mil of rain. So unless you're doing something where you're hauling like gravel or regrind, or I'll tell you, in a ballsy move, Tyler from Hallscape dug a pool today and left an open hole. And I gotta say, that's when you know you got a big set of balls. 'Cause I'm
Dig
like,
today, swim tomorrow.
I don't think I would have done that, but hey, man, I love his glasses half full attitude.
Well, something
fucking love it. Well, I think that when you're younger, he's substantially younger than me. You just you think things are going to be okay, but when you get to be my age, you're jaded and you think things are never going to be okay. But then I think you lose some of your edge, because there are days. If Mike's right now and he says that they've called off the 50 mil rain and they've dumbed it down to less than 1 mil, then Tyler rolled the dice and he fucking won, and I rolled the dice and I fucking lost.
Well, it looks like you guys are going to get hit. Us from Toronto to like Kitchener, it's about 3 or 4 mils overnight, and then light showers, thunderstorm in the morning. But if I go to Oshawa, you guys are getting quite a bit more.
I had 30 mils coming overnight. My client asked us why we weren't digging his patio today. And I said, because we're getting all this rain. If I dig your patio today, we won't be able to do it till the end of next week to do the install. That if we leave it, then I'll be able to dig it on Monday and it'll be fine. That doesn't add up. He was saying, I'm just like, oh, this is what it's like. It's going to take longer for an open hole to dry out than it would
An
the
open
ground.
hole full of water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all the water for the before the patio, all the water's been going somewhere.
Yeah. Don't want to build them a hole, but
I would have said, I'll dig it. If it fills with water and I can't come back here, I'm going to move on to my next job and you can still pay me in full because you told me to dig.
yeah. Yeah. We did a patio 10 years ago for him. Great client. I just couldn't bend to that request. So,
I would dig it if I could get the gravel in the same day.
yeah, I couldn't. I'm spread so thin. Like I could take 3 more skilled laborers right now. And surprisingly, I've been getting more job applications than I have requests for quotes.
Ooh.
Like I'm getting 2 to 3 guys a day asking for a job.
Really?
Yeah.
We put a ad on Indeed for I would like to add because one of our guys left, and the goal was to have 6, and we had 6 briefly, and then he left, Lucas. So I wanted to add someone, but I like in the current market, I want to add someone with some kind of building skill, not like a general laborer. And once you pilfer through the 5,000 resumes of Indian people that have taken food and beverage management that are applying for the landscape laborer job, there was actually like I don't know, we literally got like 300 or 400 resumes in like 6 hours or something.
Wow.
And then anyways, it's swamping out there for people looking for work. So
Yeah.
it's a good market to find people. I had someone randomly email and be like, hey man, my landscaping company cut me loose. I've been working summers in landscaping 5 years. I need a few weeks work. Can you give me a job? I've actually had some more leads too. So got a couple good leads coming in. We're working on some big stuff. We closed a parking lot that doesn't really provide us with any work, but it's great for volume sales because the paving sub's going to do all the work.
Great.
We're just doing the administration. Well, I'm going to send probably Christie's truck. I'm going to send there just to drive around the parking lot all day for 3 or 4 days while they're paving, just so it looks like we have a presence. Her truck's big and noticeable, so just drive it around. Well, we're gonna have a site manager there, and but so we actually closed a bunch of jobs. We closed that. I have a whole bunch of residential leads suddenly came up, so I guess that's good.
In the
Good
middle of the
stuff.
summer. That's good.
It is, yeah. I think it bodes well for the fall. We have couple commercial leads that came up, so that's good. We anyways, I think it feels like a pretty positive week. Other than this rainstorm on Friday and the fact that Monday, but the thing is, when you come out of a long weekend, you know your week's fucked. You might as well not even go to work. I have never come out of a long weekend and been like, man, that was the most productive week we ever fucking had. Those 4 days just fucking crushed it. Because Tuesday is a waste after a long weekend. People, it's like they just, like I stared at the sky all weekend and I'm lost. It's fucked, man. It's just, I fucking hate Tuesday after a long weekend. It's like the whole fucking, and this whole week, MTO was like blitzing Durham region. Like just on an app, they pulled one of the brokers in and they had his truck for like 3 hours or something. They did a schedule 1 on it. They went through every nut and bolt, and then they started getting pissed because they couldn't find it's an old Pete, but he's a mechanic. There's nothing wrong with it ever. they started like going through every nut and every bolt. They had like, not exaggerating, there was 100-page printout of everything they inspected on the truck. They were starting to like piss and yelling and screaming at each other. They called more people out, and they couldn't find one fucking thing wrong with the guy's truck, and they had to kick him without finding him after 3 hours.
There's that as the CRA. They can't find anything, so they just keep fucking holding you there.
So fucked up. Like if you pull a truck over and the truck is in good condition and it's being well taken care of, you can tell that immediately. Especially if it's what you do for a living is look at trucks. Like, kick that person. That's not the kind of person you want to give a hard, like, that's not the kind of person you want off the road.
Right.
If you pull over a well-maintained vehicle, that's not the person you want to find. That's not the person you want off the road. The problem is that most of the trucks that are total shit boxes that are running all over the road, there's a language barrier between the drivers of those trucks and MTO, so they never pull them in. And if they do pull them in, they kick them out the door. They go onto the scale, and then they get leave because they don't want to deal with them. And then when they get someone in, they fucking rail them like they did to Junior. There's nothing wrong with his fucking truck. Bullshit. It takes 3.5 hours out of that guy's day. He can't earn money because these morons can't look at a well-maintained truck and say, this truck's well-maintained. We should let this guy go and go search for some unwell-maintained Freightliner, 25-year-old Freightliner shit boxes that are moving sea cans on broken frame trailers. Why don't you grab some of those motherfuckers? It's 5,000 of them rolling down the road every day. But if one of those trucks pulls in the scale, guaranteed 100% to get a green light and move on. Fucking fuel tank could be right on the ground leaking fuel. They'd be like, well, we don't want to deal with that guy. Kick him out. Meanwhile, they're trying to like fucking impound our brand new fucking Kenworth because of some weird paperwork violation that's their fucking fault. Like,
maybe you should get an Indian guy driving your truck.
I think if you work for MTO, they have to do, or the Ministry of Transportation, I'm confident that they do an IQ test, and if your IQ isn't below 80, they won't hire you. They're like, oh, your IQ's 92? Oh, you're fucking way too smart to work here. We need people with below 80 IQ. We can't possibly employ someone with a fucking morons. Anyways. They were around all week. Nonstop. Blitzing. Searching for people with safe trucks.
Yeah. And they don't get much better whenever they are in charge of procurement for jobs for the MTO, like that Brockville job that we did there. So that's an MTO job, right? Like it's all bundled in the same. The people that do the inspections and shit, they live in the same offices. The people who do all this other shit. Anyway, they are holding back 25% of the total job until the end of warranty period. 25% plus a 10% holdback on the 25% holdback.
Jeez.
I think this is fucking never ending. When am I going to get my money?
What's the end of the warranty period?
It'll be this October, I believe.
Like a year?
Yeah. Yeah. So in a lot of these commercial things, it's a year, but they are allowed to extend the warranty for an extra year at their own discretion. Which is just horse shit. Like, if they say some things, oh, this is borderline, let's extend it another year until it fucking dies and you got to replace it. Like, it's just the whole shit.
Well, because they'll be like, oh, that died, so now you got to warranty that for a year, bitch.
Yeah.
I've done contracts like that, and it's just never ending. Because if in the 12 months one more shrub dies, they're like, okay, now you got another year on the whole job because that shrub is fucking stupid.
No way.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Idiotic government shit.
Anyway.
I can't imagine a country with a stupider government than ours. I can't fathom it. There can't be a more asinine government than ours.
Yeah.
So the other thing that's happening as of July 1st, but it's like So now when your truck goes in for a safety, they take 100 pictures of the truck and they get registered to that truck and uploaded. And then your truck gets a QR code on the side of it. So when the 80-point IQ people are inspecting it, they can scan the QR code and then they can see all the pictures of the truck from inspection and compare them to the current condition of the truck. What fucking good is that? They want to make sure that you have the same tires on. What if I decided to change them? What if a tire got a nail in it? What good is a picture from October 2024 in September 2025 of a fucking truck?
Yeah.
Like, what good is a picture of the brakes or the fucking tires? And it's all wear parts. You actually have to take a picture with a pressure gauge on every single tire and post it so that they know that in October, 9 months ago, the tires had the right air pressure in them.
Ridiculous.
What if it gets cold? This picture, your sticker is invalid. It's fucked. And there's a thing right now where you can't renew stickers because there's a glitch in the system. Fucking Rob fucking Ford. Our province was better when Kathleen Wynne was running it. And that's a fucking statement.
Don't go there. Jesus.
There was a fucking science center and you could get your truck like fucking certified.
What's this science center? Indication of a province running well. This is science center.
There's a fucking science center and they're like fucking provinces shit.
You lost the science center, you gained a canoe museum. So,
there was always a canoe museum. Not as nice of a canoe museum, but there was always a canoe museum. Canoe museums are packed, man. Rob Ford's coming for it next. It's right on the waterfront. His developer buddies probably fucking want the land the canoe museum's on. They can put up a condo. Like, the next thing, canoe museum roof is no good. Fucking gonna take that down.
Perfect. Maybe they'll put a green roof on it. I got to take the green roof course this winter.
You have to take it?
Yeah, we got a green roof coming up. So we give that a go.
Is that a full day course or what?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I just know I have to take a green roof installation course. It'll be something. Not a lot of guys do it, I guess. So
probably not out your way. There's probably people like coming overnight to do it.
Yeah.
Like staying in hotels and stuff to do it.
I'll be one of those guys. As long as it doesn't interfere with HNA. Okay. Maybe you can take a course for a green roof out there.
Ooh.
I would, but maybe you could.
There's some new green. The Longos in Whitby has a green roof now.
What company to get a green roof? Think red tape? You think someone says you need?
Oh, it's the law in Durham region. Any new building structure has to have a green roof.
Really?
Over a certain square footage, yeah. That's no one voluntarily puts a $2 million roof on their building. No one's like, fuck yeah, I can't wait to grow some succulents on my roof. Like no person building a commercial building woke up and said, I love succulents so much, I want to grow them where no one can fucking see them on the roof. We gotta save things from flooding. So a patio that we built, not to be named, in a major rainstorm, it flooded and some water went in the building. So I got sent a bunch of pictures and I said, okay, you gotta come for this meeting because we think that this isn't flowing right and this isn't going the right way. And I said, okay, cool. So I went to the meeting and I was standing there with the guy we did the job for. And then there's some representatives of the client. And I'm standing at the door where the water came in. And I said, okay, there's like a 3/4 inch lip on the door sill. It's a sliding door, right? Like an automatic sliding door. So the water had to build up 3/4 of an inch to go over that lip, right? They're like, yeah. I said, okay. There's nothing here. And we can all agree that this clearly slopes away. They're like, yep, clearly slopes away. I said, okay, so the only rain that comes here falls from the sky onto this 2x2 piece of tile. They're like, yeah, absolutely. So, well, how does that build up 3/4 of an inch when we can all agree it's flowing away? There's some greater problem here than the grading of this tile, because like the only rain that comes, there's no downspout exiting here. There's no, like, there's some source of water that's creating so much water that so they called the manager out who was there during the episode. And he said, yeah, it built up from the drain and kept building up and building up and building up and building up, and then went into the building. He said, oh, well, that probably has nothing to do with me. So then I said, what, how does the drain work? I never looked at it. Like, I don't know. We didn't put it in. So it's a hidden drain. So it's a drain, but then there's a solid tile in the middle of it. And then there's a 1/4 inch gap on each side of the drain that allows water to go down. Right? So that means if you add up those 4 1/4 inches by a foot, the patio is supposed to drain into a 1 inch by 1 foot hole, right? You add up the the patio is 4,000 square feet going to that one drain.
Yeah.
So I think this may be the problem. And today, as I was driving around looking at the 50 mil coming, I thought that's going to be a bigger problem tomorrow that probably my phone is going to ring about.
Wow. So you're gonna address it in person tomorrow in your rent?
I addressed it. I said, if you guys want us to change the grade of this tile at the door, I'm here, man. Let's fucking do it. I got no problem doing it. Like, but tell me where you want me to put it, because it's draining away from the door. If the rain was falling from the sky and landing on it, it's not building up. And if the rain is building up from the drain that's 200 feet away, high enough to come in the door, I don't know how you want me to fix that. Probably getting a bigger drain would be the key, because the problem with those 1/4 inch gaps is it's a patio people are using, so there's debris.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as people are using a patio for eating and food, and there's debris that falls every day, then it gets washed into the drain. But it's only a 1/4 inch around. Like, that's a 1 inch by 1 foot. If I ran my fucking tap and my sink into that, it would start to back up.
That's a couple cigarette butts away from failure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You're fucking right. So
Yeah.
I actually had an epiphany the other day. And I thought that it would make for a good it would bring some value to the podcast, and it would make a great Caleb's Corner. Because he's obviously prides himself on bringing value, so we could dedicate this part of the podcast to him. So I was listening to a song, and I thought, this is one of the most appropriate songs that every single person should be, every single landscape contractor, as they head to a sales meeting, this should be on repeat as they approach the sales meeting to get them into the right mindset. Right? I mean, I don't think anyone's ever talked about pump up songs heading to your sales meetings. I don't think, has anyone ever heard that topic ever?
Nope.
No.
So I think this song encompasses everything that landscape sales is. So I'm going to start going through some of these lyrics, and then I feel like you guys can contribute, and we're going to break down this shit. And at some point, you guys can guess what song this is, and then we can discuss that.
Are you gonna sing it?
No, absolutely not.
Come
No
on.
fucking way. I'm not singing. So I would say that, and I want to tell everyone that listens to this podcast, listen to this song on the way to your next sales meeting, and tag us in a video of you listening to this song, and then tag us when you close the job, because this song will set you up for success more than any guru ever could. So I'm going to some of these are not always relevant, all the lyrics, but there are some good ones. So first one: on a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere. And that's what it's like. When you're driving to a quote, it's normally a warm summer's evening, And you could be on a train bound for nowhere, baby. Because you could get to that quote and nothing happens. It's just a wash. You get there and you're like, yeah, I don't want to resod your lawn, bitch. Like, this is not appropriate for me. This was a train bound for nowhere. I met up with a gambler.
Can I guess the song already?
Yeah, you can guess the song.
Chad, do you know the song?
I think so. I think
Okay.
so.
Sorry, I cut you off there, PK.
No, go ahead. You want to take your guess? Take your guess.
I think this is a Kenny Rogers song.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
This is a Kenny Rogers song. Yeah, but
Nice.
I say that already you understand how this song relates to landscape sales. When I say on a warm summer's evening on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler and we were both too tired to sleep. Right. So he said, I'm going to skip a couple lines don't work in. So we're not reading all the lines. We're reading the relevance. He said, son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. That is what you are doing when you arrive at you are reading people's faces and knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes.
Hmm.
When you walk into a backyard and you're asking about budget, you're reading those people's eyes and you want to know what the cards are, right? This song was built for this. And then you can look at those people and you can say, so if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces. And for a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice. Now this is when they ask you, what should I do about my drainage problem? Mike can say, for a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice. These two lines are great, but they don't have that much to do with it. So I handed him my bottle and he drank down my last swallow. Can you see Mike in the backyard taking some retired dude in Kitchener's last swallow of whiskey?
Tired dude.
And then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. Oh, that one's not. This one is actually related to sales. And the night got deathly quiet and his face lost all expression. And that's when you said to them, yeah, this is going to be at least 50 grand. And that's when the meeting gets deathly quiet and their face loses all expression. And then you got to say to them, this is the next line. If you're going to play the Game Boy, you got to learn to play it right. And that's you saying to them, if you don't do this right the first time, you're just going to pay me to do it right the second time. This song is an inspiration to landscape contractors. I heard it on my Sirius radio and I was like, now we're in the chorus and this isn't, you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them. So you got to read them and you got to realize, how much can I charge for this job and still get the job? Or you also have to know the next line is, know when to walk away, know when to run. So when you meet two people that don't speak the same, two old people that can't agree on what you're doing, Chad knew when to run. If you listened to an earlier episode.
Yeah.
What?
That is that is a great, know when to walk away. I feel like most landscape contractors should have some of these lines tattooed on their arms.
Yeah.
So that when they meet a client or they're in a bad situation and they're like, fuck, you can literally say, you got to know when to walk away and you got to know when to run. And this is a run. Right? This one I like too, because this is what I think happens to most younger contractors when they start getting their deposit money coming in. They're getting all their spring deposit money. Their accounts are looking good. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the deal is done. And that's when you don't count your money when you're getting your deposits. You count your money when all your jobs are done at the end of the year.
That's good.
I feel like that's solid advice. Like,
Absolutely.
every gambler knows that the secret to surviving, and I have talked oftentimes about how I think that every contractor is an addicted gambler. I truly believe that all of us are addicted to gambling because when you're a contractor and you're working for yourself, there's no guaranteed outcome.
Yeah.
And if you work at any job, if your life is dependent on money from things that you're doing with no guaranteed outcome, you are addicted to gambling, and you should be in some kind of Gamblers Anonymous group. So every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away and knowing what to keep. So you gotta know what jobs to throw away and what jobs to keep, because if you keep them all, you're fucked. And if you don't keep the right ones, you're fucked. I like this one because I feel like this line really relates to Chad's theory of I'll get the job and then I'll figure out how to make money.
There we go.
Because every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser.
Yes, exactly.
That's
it.
When I heard that line when this was on the radio, I was like, "That is fucking Chad right there." I'm gonna win this job, but it's a loser. I was a loser to be a winner, because every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser. And I feel like this job is absolutely relevant. This line is absolutely relevant to every landscape contractor on the planet. And the best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep.
Is that an actual line in the song?
That's the line in the song. And the best is because every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser. And the best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep.
I don't even remember that in that song. That's crazy.
But and somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even. Like, how many times did you break even on your gamble? It's dark out. So you got to imagine yourself. It's dark out. It's 10 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock at night. It was finishing day. It didn't go well. And somewhere in the darkness, as you're driving home, the gambler, the contractor, you look around and you count your dimes and go, fuck, I just broke even and I worked a 15-hour finishing day. That's like, but in his final words, I found an ace that I could keep. That's it. Says you got to know when to. It's time enough for count when the dealing's done. So, I think that there's a lot of advice in that song.
Yeah.
That as I feel like if every contractor was listening to that song as they headed to every quote tomorrow, Mike, as you head out on your consultations, make sure you're listening to the Kenny Rogers, The Gambler. Because I think you just have a better day. Plus, it's a fucking great song.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't even know there was a movie till I Googled it. Like, how bad is that? I'm going to watch that movie. There's a movie with Kenny Rogers in it called The Gambler.
Really?
He stars in the movie. Yeah. The guy had a great beard.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? That should be the theme?
Yeah, that's a great landscape theme.
Yeah, very applicable.